Mm.
That's right. It's a morning show. We're getting ready to go live here. Hopefully, you can hear Jesse Sanchez over there waiting in the wings. We had a couple technical difficulties. Thank goodness for Windows Update, always making our life miserable in the end. I don't know about you, Jesse, but how many seconds we got going?
We got 20 seconds, and yeah, the computers asked me here also if I wanted to update. I said no, no.
Yeah, why? Why? I mean, I get their updates, but I feel as though always make sure you can rewind. Very important.
F-
Always
Five
have your
seconds.
backup. And it asked me, do you want to delete your backup? I'm like, no.
No. All right, we're coming on.
That's right.
That's
It's the
right.
morning show right here on ABC News
News
Radio,
Radio.
KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, and of course, Alexa. Don't forget to listen to all of our great programming, KMET 1490 AM. All you have to say is, Alexa, I'd like to listen to KMET 1490 AM, and it will pop up for you and your ability to listen to everything. If we're ever having technical difficulties online, then you can always make sure that our radio output is always alive and well. So make sure to subscribe, download it. It's free. You can also do so on your mobile device, whether you have the iPhone and or the Android. KMET 1490 AM, where we cover all the ABC News, national news on the top of the hour every hour, as well as other great programming. And we got a lot of great programmers. Jesse, I know you got probably your own favorites as well. Any that we should tune into other than the morning show?
Oh yeah, there's tons of great programming here. If you like advice about addiction and relationships, there's Heart to Heart on Thursdays and Fridays. There's always Dave Ramsey. That's always a plus. I know you like Dave Ramsey.
I do. I like to get out of debt, but I haven't listened to him ever since coronavirus. So I don't know what his recommendation is during coronavirus because everybody's going into huge debt. Uh,
Yeah.
and sadly, I actually saw this on a news broadcast yesterday. 53% of people are financially poor right now. Or so, there was a huge number. There's so many numbers going through my head. I just remember thinking, that's a lot higher than where we thought we were going, right? People unemployed, service industry, retail industry, and now thoughts about another lockdown going on. Of course, we already faced the initial lockdown as of yesterday with lot of things being, of course, being hampered, so to speak, right? But as of recent, Jesse, I don't know if you saw, but they're considering a full lockdown again because of the hospitalization rate being significantly high. They believe by mid December, we're going to be at least at 78% occupancy of beds because they already know that there's a lag time, right? From the people that are and have been tested, there's usually a week to a week and a half lag time. And again, that to topple over just regular flu. How are you feeling, by the way? You got just allergy season happening for you, right?
Yeah, allergies. It's winding down right now. Like my sinuses was just driving me crazy because I was having a headache. I couldn't get rid of it. It was bad.
Yeah, and you look on the positive news, and I know a lot of people are trying to look for positivity during coronavirus. The real question is, what's going to happen next? And here's the reality for a lot of people. The reality is what. Sorry, I had audio playing in the background that I didn't want. There was an ad that popped up on my desktop. Moderna announced it will ask the Food and Drug Administration for emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine, making it the second company after Pfizer to seek for a COVID-19 vaccine in the United States. Pfizer's public FDA hearing, a crucial step in the authorization process, is scheduled for December 10th. The FDA could make its official authorization decision shortly thereafter. In an early morning press release, Moderna announced their hearing for December 17th. Moderna announced their coronavirus is more than 94% effective, according to the final analysis of its passive phase 3 trial. Now, for those wondering how many people volunteered for this trial just to get it off the ground, According to this, more than 30,000 volunteers in Moderna's phase 3 trial, 196 ultimately developed COVID 19, but the vast majority of those COVID 19 cases happened among volunteers who have been given a placebo injection, an imbalance hefty enough for biostatisticians to feel confident the vaccine is highly effective. Dr. John Brownstein said the newly published results from Moderna confirm our enthusiasm for the prospects of their vaccine. Pfizer said its vaccine was 95% effective in the final analysis, but it had a different number of COVID 19 cases in the trial, so the percentages shouldn't be compared head to head without context. David Benkesser said this, quote, "The results of both trials are just amazing." He's an assistant professor of biostatistics and bioinformatics at Emory University Rollins School of Public Health. He added 94.1% and 95% are statistically indistinguishable at this point, probably coming down to a difference of just 1 or 2 cases of COVID 19. He did caution, though, we do have to be careful not to overinterpret these data, especially when in comparison to the Pfizer analysis. Moderna promised to publish full details from the trial through a formal scientific review process. Additional details about the trial will become available through the FDA review process. Look, I don't know about you, Jesse, if you're excited about this. I'm hopeful that at least we're closer than we were before. However, the moment you rush to the finish line on something, you see two companies rushing to the finish line to be the first out of the gate. I still got questions, kind of like my Windows update. Is it going to cause me problems? I don't know. I think I want to know in social media. What do you guys think out there? What do you think, Jesse?
Uh, I hope it doesn't cause any problems. I just want this whole situation to just disappear. Pretend like it never happened.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you. In reality, I feel as though we're going to have to watch this very carefully. I know Newsom said that there's a certain amount of Pfizer, if it gets approved, that will be made available to California first responders. So no
That's
truth
good.
to the rumor. It's not like everybody's going to be able to get one right away because it only can produce so much so quickly. I think that's the part of the news I think a lot of people don't understand. And at the same time, even though you test 30,000 people, the question really, I think, is how much time does it take for other symptoms to possibly appear if in case it does, right? I'm always of the first mindset that, do vaccines work? Well, those that have been out for a very long time, you kind of see the ones that do, but then you always see the statistics of those, especially if they're very young, and you see certain things happen or pop up in their life that didn't happen before, right? Which is why a lot of people sometimes get termed anti-vaccinators or which I don't think I'm fully on that side because I realize, like my mom, I had my mom get her vaccine for the flu, for example, but I know that that's been time tested and tried, and the alternative is a huge risk, right? If she's highly vulnerable due to being diabetic and other situations in her body, obviously you got to take the risk with hopefulity. I know that's not a word, but I'm making it up. But my point is, people always have to see, well, what is the worst case scenario? So I think, though, this is a little too new, a little too fast, and a little too... I'm not saying not to get it if you're a first responder. I'm just saying I would like to see more of the data. Does that make sense? Because it's so new. And I think Russia said that they had like the fix first in July. They called it like the golden ticket. And their death rate is significantly high right now. So I don't know that I trust everybody's information just yet. I would probably wait till like March or May when they finally figure out, what's working. Because I would imagine there's some coming up around the corner that are taking a little bit longer, but are being more safe than sorry. But that's my opinion. I'm sticking to my opinion for myself. I'm not recommending anybody take my opinion for face value because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a physician. I just know when things get rushed, like an Android device or an update or an iPhone update, right, Jesse? There's always bugs. And
There's always bugs.
yeah, and you don't want to bug with your own health, right? But something's better than nothing. I know a lot of people are going to say that. And again, I think the majority that are going to need it, again, will be taking it regardless. But again, we're not out of the woods anytime soon. These things, although they sound like they're going to be made available right away, the majority of us are not going to get it right away. You're talking about a global pandemic. We're not talking just about the United States of America. Pfizer, Moderna, yes, are looking for authorization here, but they're also looking for abroad. They've got a much bigger landscape than just the United States of America. So we have to remember that and keep that in mind. All right, social media comments. Let's go to you. And I'm actually doing it a little differently. Somebody said I'm not currently streaming on Periscope. We're having Periscope issues right now, but hopefully we'll get it back tomorrow. But Windows Update. If you guys do a Windows Update, just make sure you can uninstall the update because it might mess with all of your settings like it did with mine. So thankfully we got Jesse's audio coming in, but we're using an old tried tested method of transportation onto Facebook. And there you go. Big shout out to Stephanie Reed. Says, hello, happy editing and on set of a Christmas film and commercials. This glorious snowy winter wonderland. Awesome busy day ahead. Snowing over there. That's kind of cool, right? And already planning for Christmas films and commercials. Good for you, Stephanie. From Cleveland, Ohio. Maria says this. Good morning, Aaron, Jesse, and everyone. It's 26 here and a blizzard out here. Maria tuning in from Canada. Thank you. Katya says a warm hello from snowy Switzerland. Has a little emoji of the freezing icicle face. Crazy Boys tuning in. Thank you, Crazy. Let's see. A name that I can't pronounce. Another name I can't pronounce. I apologize. I don't speak Armenian. Let's see. Diana Carbajal says, good morning. Hope everyone is having a great morning. Dale Hemming says hello. And Trish Burnham tuning in, Mackie tuning in, and Penelope tuning in. Thank you all. We appreciate you. All right, so let's go into the news of world news. And lots going on, right? A lot of people pay attention to the world news. I don't know. Do people pay attention to the world news or just local news? What do you do, Jesse, or none of it?
No, I try and get a little bit of everything. So at least I would like to know what's happening out in the world.
Yeah, these are the top news headlines. Let me go to the this one. China took weeks to diagnose new COVID cases and underreported numbers. Leaked documents are showing that. Well, tell me something I didn't already know, right? That's kind of like nothing new here. The question is, how long did we know about it and not do anything? I think that's what we really care about because once it was here, was it being taken care of? No, I don't believe so. We're going to take a quick minute, review some of the top headlines coming in really quick and fast. Yes, we had some technical difficulties on my part, not Jesse's part. The radio station's up and alive and well. But if you have Windows, be careful about that update. And if you have problems, I'm going to give you information on how you can roll back your Windows update, worst case scenario. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, thank you. We appreciate you. And lots of comments in social media. Let's see. Isaac Arquitas tuning in. Lucy tuning in. Yogesh tuning in. Thank you. Maria says, I watch the national world news. And I will say you're smarter for doing so because then you see we're not just in this tiny little bubble that we think we are in, right? Brendan tuning in. Thank you. Cabral. Um, but the question, of course, of the day is, where do we go from here, right? I saw a post on Congress. Haven't figured it out financially for any of us. So that's never good. Um, Numbers are going down with retail. Are you buying gifts right now? And if so, how are you buying them? Because the shopping places pretty much dead, right? Wrong? What do you think, Jesse?
What do you mean shopping's dead? Out in the mall?
Yeah.
I would not risk that. I would not. I went to, what was it, on the weekend? I went to Little Caesars Pizza. Literally everybody was packed in there like a can of sardines. I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
And that's a small little setup too. It's
It is.
like
I'm just like, I'm outside looking out the window like, you guys, we got 5 seconds.
there's some places I think like that. I go, am I the only one? I guess I am.
Yeah, you are. No, coming back.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, and of course, Alexa. Make sure to get us on your small device, the mobile device, wherever it is at, whether you are an Android or an iPhone person. Make sure to enjoy it. But download our app. KMET 1490 AM. Jesse, you're now. When did this happen? I just caught Jesse with an iPhone. I was looking. I go, that's not an Android. I remember when you were always going to stick with the iPhone in the. What happened? I mean, you were an Android dude. What happened?
Well, I needed a new phone, so I picked a random phone. No, I got an iPhone. I got the iPhone SE. This is before the iPhone 12 was announced. So I was just looking for a cheap alternative until I can figure out a better phone that comes out.
That's not a bad idea. I went. Yeah, that's funny because I went to the Android Galaxy Note, right? So you and I switched gears, but I still have my iPhone as well. I keep both actually. So for those of you that are concerned about your Windows update, maybe you might have all of a sudden an update and you go, okay, it should work, and then things start not working right, like drivers end up disappearing or things get switched out. It's a thing that's been known to happen. For those of you wondering, if you ever have to go backwards, you can always Google it, and or B, I could give you the information right here, right now. But there's a couple ways to do it. To roll back a build, hit Windows plus the I to open the settings app, and then click the update and security option. Okay, that's just or go to Windows settings and go to update and security. On the update and security screen, switch to the recovery tab, and then click the Get Started button under the Go Back to an Earlier Build section. If you do not see the Go Back to an Earlier Build section, then it's more than 10 days since you upgraded to the current build. They've cleared away those files. It's also possible that you ran the disk cleanup tool and selected the previous Windows installation files for removal. I know because it came up as soon as I updated it. It says, you're running low on memory. Would you like to get rid of the other Windows? And I said, no. And I'm glad I didn't because evidently I have settings messed up with. So there you go. Again, I'm not a fan of many of these updates, and yet they roll them out. And I'm not going to, say that they're like the vaccines, but they roll them out. And then, of course, they go, whoops, sorry. Well, now we know now that more people are having it. So there you go. Again, I'm going to be here cautiously optimistic when it comes to vaccines. I'm not saying here not to partake of it. I'm just saying I want to see more of the information ahead of everything. I'm glad that they're wanting to roll a couple of these out, but you could kind of see, I don't know if you've been noticing, Jesse, but I like to see whenever, and how do I put it? There was this one CEO that was asked by the news reporter. He said, so are you going to take it yourself? And he hesitated. He was like, yeah, I would, I was like, whoa, don't be, it was so in the moment. I was surprised because I mean, it was a good question from the journalist, right? Are you going to take of it? Well, but his hesitation kind of, and I'm not going to tell you which vaccine that they were talking about, but I was a little like, when somebody's like holding back or lying and you feel like they know something that you don't, right? It's like that water. The person who puts the stuff in the water and he knows it's in the water. You're like, will you drink the water? Remember that? I think it was Aaron Brockovich that did that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So there you go. All right. Other news is this. In the news, coronavirus. Seriously, there's nothing else here. I sometimes I feel like I'm just beating an old horse up. So if you have something good or something new to talk about, I'm ready to talk about it. I know we're supposed to be like a morning show of fun, but here you go. Here's an article that I think some of you might be appreciative of. When can you get a coronavirus vaccine? Federal government officials are promising it. Some even before Christmas. States are gearing up to begin vaccinating Americans sometime in December. It sounds as if people are going to be lining up. But millions of healthcare workers may be able to get immunized against the virus before the end of the year. The rest of the population is going to have to wait for months. Healthy adults under the age of 65 and children may well have to wait until late spring or even the summer, depending on how many vaccines get approved, how quickly they can be manufactured and distributed, and how the debate goes over allocation. But there is some interesting news here. They're basically wanting to vote to see who can get what. December is a month for big decisions. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee meet to vote on who should be the very first to get vaccinated. That will be 21 million frontline healthcare workers, support staff, and 3 million residents of long-term care facilities who have been hardest hit by the pandemic. It'll be easiest to vaccinate these groups because they're already in settings where you can do that. The nursing home residents can get vaccinated at the same time their caregivers are being immunized. The decision's being made before the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has authorized the vaccine because they need to figure out, well, if it gets approved, how are you going to roll it out, right? So they're meeting on this. They're trying to vote to figure out who's going to happen with what. But there you go. If you basically are not in the healthcare sector, again, I think they're rushing it a bit. But I understand why. So the question is, would you rather people get sick and or die and or get vaccinated just in case? I got questions that need to be answered because I feel that the mutation of this coronavirus, which has been happening for quite some time, I wonder which mutation is taken care of. And I wonder if that's what I'm wondering. So there you go. Now, if you want to know what's in my head, that's what's in my head. So I got questions that need to be answered, but we have to take another break here on the morning show. When we get back, we got more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, Mario says, yeah, they did on the weekend. No one knows how. Are you talking about the update or got you?
No, we're talking about the monolith in the Utah desert.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. The second one looks different, though. It looks like somebody, doesn't it?
Yeah, I saw pictures of the second one, and it looked like someone was trying to learn how to weld because it had a lot of gaps in between. I don't know. It just looked bad.
It
But it
was.
looked cool.
Yeah, it wasn't the. I think they just wanted like to up tourism. You know. I think there's gonna be like 25 new ones popping up all of a sudden.
Right? And I'm kind of glad they removed it from the desert area.
Why?
Well, on the TikTok video, I was talking about how some people removed it for reasons, but I think one of the main reasons was because of all the destruction that it's causing because people are flooding to that location. So, they're trampling through the desert, leaving trash.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's never fun. Whenever you put humans in anywhere, unless you have like a ability to clean it all up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
mean, it
see.
was
You said there's video on TikTok?
Yeah, there's a video on TikTok of someone he was there the day that it was removed. Apparently he was camping and he noticed some people come out in the middle of the night and remove it. And they were talking about he was overheard their conversation, something about how people were messing up the location because of foot traffic, just trampling through the desert, not really caring about the wildlife and just nature in general.
Got it. Well, Ryan Reynolds doesn't want a street named after him. What? Why not? Don't you want go
30
left on
seconds.
Ryan Reynolds?
Turn left on Ryan Reynolds Boulevard.
He should just make it, just do the Deadpool, right? He's Deadpool forever.
That he is.
All right, we'll talk some entertainment, have some fun here.
10 seconds. Two seconds.
Thank you. Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook. We appreciate each and every one of you, however you're tuning in, whether it be radio and or online. Many people having second thoughts on what's fun out there. Again, I keep telling people VR is where it's at. Go get one if you can and spend some time on it, and then let me know what you're tuning into and or having fun playing. I know I want to play a couple of games coming up around the corner, which I might stream if I can get my Windows to work. So hopefully the update I will roll back and it will work as well. Lots of entertainment news. Before we go to that, let's go to social media chat room. Let's see. We've got Jesse over there. It has new information on the monolith, and I think who actually put it up, right, Jesse? You've got the 411. Which alien species do you think put it up?
If only it was the reptilians. No, but they never really talked about who put it up, because apparently it's been up for a few years, but no one actually noticed it till now. But yeah, so some people removed it over the weekend, which was a bit disappointing, and I'm kind of glad this way, because humans, we trample through everything, leave trash. So it's understandable that some people wanted to keep the area clean and pristine without the touch of man.
Yeah, Mario says, I think it's a stunt to get people to notice something big coming up, maybe a movie or aliens found. Well, I think the theory, though, kind of goes out the door when it comes to that, because according to Google Earth, didn't you say like they had seen that thing had been up there for a couple of years, or how did they define?
Yeah, so apparently they looked at like satellite footage from the area from a few years back, and apparently it's been there. So maybe it was just a local artist that was just experimenting. Maybe it was for some type of video shoot. I don't know. But yeah, it caused a bit of a stir, so which was always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk. What is the reason for UFO phenomena, right? Has anybody seen a UFO? I have yet to see one. I sometimes wish I could be abducted, but then I wonder if they're going to conduct experiments on me, because I'm not ready for that. Does that make sense? Like, don't probe my body. Thank you very much. I just want to see what's on your ship. That's it. Well, it's like simple. All right, people. Let's see. In social media chat room here, let's see. We've got Ryan Reynolds. He doesn't want a street named after him. What does he want? I don't know. But gotta love that guy, right? Forever will be Deadpool. Don't you think if he doesn't want his own name, like, as a street, they should do Deadpool Street, Jesse? Or is that a Marvel situation?
I think that would be a Marvel situation.
Yeah.
Or I always known him as Van Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I noticed about him, and yeah, then Deadpool.
Yeah, I like that. Here's another entertaining news headline. George Clooney cuts his own hair with a device attached to a vacuum cleaner. Boy, that guy has way too much.
What?
He has too much time on his hands. Yeah, it's a thing. I haven't heard much about George Clooney, but I don't know that he'd want this to come out. The coronavirus forced celebrities to adapt to a brave new world from their adoring fans, and they responded in myriad ways. Some went to work at their kitchen tables, others soothed the world's anxieties with a cringe-inducing John Lennon cover, and one reflected on the unity of humankind from her bathtub. Who was that? George Clooney, though, turns out was more prepared than most, and the actor has revealed he's been cutting his own hair for the past 25 years with a 1980s era contraption that he attaches to a vacuum cleaner. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea, because then it cleans up. You don't have to do the sweeping situation, right? He revealed the trick about how he adapted to months of lockdown in 2020. And he said, years ago, I bought a thing called a Flowbee. It comes with a vacuum cleaner and clippers. I still have it. A Flowbee is a device invented in the 80s that can be placed on the end of a vacuum cleaner to trim hair. He says, my hair is like straw, so it's easy to cut. He says, listen, man, it works. The dude makes millions. How did he, but you know what? Whatever works. That's like, do you have a hack like that, Jesse?
I have no hack like that. He just blew my mind. Like, I remember seeing something like that on TV or like on a movie, but I always thought it was just a joke.
Yeah, no, he's 100% serious. And you know what I say? You know what? You do you, bro. You do you. I just don't want that one which does like the fishbowl cut. You know what I mean?
Mm.
With because there's those contraptions. But you know what? Well, I'm sure Floby probably appreciates the endorsement. I'm pretty sure they're going to start selling more of those. Because I mean, I know I need a haircut right now, and I'm having a hard. I think, and thankfully the hair salons are still open. But I think the fact that Newsom wants to do on a full lockdown again makes me kind of question. Oh no, are people ready for that? Which I would venture to say they're not. Will it cut out the situation financially? I think even more so than it already has. I think it's already beyond repairing for at least a couple of months. And I feel that the Congress just needs to step up, do the right thing, and meet up. And you'll hear me say it again and again. I guess I wish somebody from the political arena would actually listen to a word I say. But we need to do this. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying this, hoping somebody tells somebody in Congress, hello, we've got people suffering over here. There's people in food lines. There's people waiting for Wonder Woman 2 and wondering if they're gonna see it at a movie theater. Do you think you're gonna see it in a movie theater, Jesse?
Honestly, I want to, but I highly doubt it. If anything, I'll probably just go to the drive-in.
Yeah, I think that and or I'm trying to get a hold of them to put it on big screen on the VR device because it's freaking awesome. It really is. Once you get that, Jesse, I really hope you do. Check out Big Screen VR. And anybody that's out there, if you haven't already, get a VR device, spend the money for it. If there's anything that you want to be ahead of the game for, it's one of these. Because you could spend time in the VR world, be cooped up in your house, and feel like you're going out to see the world. That's how amazing it is. And you don't have to feel all shuttered in because I get it. Sometimes people need like a reason to get out of the space. No truth to the rumor. I'm like, I think I want to take my mom down LA and show her how Beverly Hills looks all boarded up because I don't think she's seen it. She's only seen it in movies, right? Like you see movies that are like dystopian eras, and certain parts of LA actually look like that. Have you been down to LA anytime soon, Jesse?
No, I do not go down there at all.
Yeah, it's a completely different environment, completely different. And Rodeo Drive, nothing. It's like dead in the water. I mean, technically, it's good if you wanted to like, if you were a movie production company that was doing it safe. Now would be the perfect time to start doing that. Remember when like drones would take of certain areas, be like it's empty. It reminds you like pre-zombie apocalypse movie type setup. Does that make sense? So, but thankfully we don't have zombies around the corner. Or do we with the new vaccinations? No, I'm just kidding. But isn't that how they started it in the movie? What movie was that? There were a couple movies where they do that, where it's like a cure for all. Oh, that one with Brad Pitt in it, right?
World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z kind of starts off with that, right? It was like a helpful vaccine or something, and then it ends up turning them into monster grubbing animals. Look, I know that's sci-fi, so hopefully that won't ever happen here. But there you go. I feel bad for Maria. Maria says, well, she works in the healthcare sector, so she doesn't get a chance to say, I don't think so. So, but again, look, do I think that it's going to like massively any one of these new ones? Look, the numbers will speak for themselves, okay? Whenever you have a new medical breakthrough, right? Usually these things take years, never months, to get off the ground. Because then they have to look at all the side effects of what these certain things will come out with, right? And typically, you always have at least, a safe margin of 3 to 5%, which is what they say, which you're going to experience some of these side effects, and hopefully it's just dizziness, right? Never operate machinery while drugged up on some of these machinery devices, right? And you know, there's certain things that help for anxiety. There's Xanax. There's a bunch of them. So they all come with warning labels, right? Because they figured out it's been out long enough. You know which ones are highly addictive, which ones are so addictive that you have to go in person to be able to get that, which I recently did for my mom because they wouldn't ship it because it was technically considered a highly addictive medication known as Xanax, which is actually good for anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm.
And could calm you down, make you feel like a kid in a candy store. I took one once, and I felt like, woo, this is nice. I can see how you'd like. I mean, it's better than alcohol, Jesse. None of the side effects of alcohol, and completely like, you feel. I mean, I think some would actually be like it's better than weed. I'm just saying that. But it's highly addictive, right? So you got to be careful out there. But my point is this: although you have a medication good for one thing, you can have problems no matter what medication it is. So vaccines are a concoction of chemicals meant to distribute into your bloodstream quite quick in order to help you fight off a disease and or thing. But is it ever 100% foolproof? So I just say be careful out there. That's all. And that's what I ask for the FDA, which, let's face it, FDA approves things all the time, and then all of a sudden they have a rollback situation. Oh, sorry. So there you go. And I would, if I were vaccinated, I would definitely document any odd phenomenon happening within like a good couple of years, even a few years, because you never know what may develop in your body down the line, right? I know my
Mm-hmm.
mom took one for something else. I think it was high blood pressure, or maybe it was my dad. I don't remember. And then it created like 12 other things in their body, which thankfully they addressed. But there you go. So be careful out there. Be responsible, and always think for yourself. Again, just know what you're getting into before you do it. But I think the majority of Americans and those around the world are just going to say, okay, sign me up. And I would say, if you can, wait. That's all. Wait till after March or May. I feel like there's going to be some better stuff coming out and more information coming out as well around the corner. All right, people, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. Oh, Jesse. I just saw your comment.
I know.
I don't know if I want to share it though, but that's funny.
No, don't share it. But like, if you're asking like a politician, will you take the vaccine, and he starts stuttering, no, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
That's that. You know what? I do agree with that. I think you kind of have to kind of say, okay, if you were the ones that came out with it, I want to see you visibly take it, and I want to see that it wasn't the placebo, right?
Exactly. I mean, they're all saying they're willing to inject us with it. Show us, show us your product's good. Inject it yourself. Kind of like the people that test the bulletproof armor.
Yeah. Oh
Those,
yeah.
those guys.
There was one that didn't work, I believe, and they got shot anyway
Uh,
or stabbed. It was one of the two. I can't remember what it was. And they're like, "Look, check it out!" And it went through the armor. They're like, "Oh shoot."
well, first off, body armor would protect against stabbing. I don't think so. I
No,
don't think
that
there's any body armor that protects against that.
there is one. It's stab proof. It's like a chainmail, but it's a very highly like nanotech.
Yeah, that's what I say. It has to be chainmail because you. I'm pretty sure an ice pick will go through it. But either way, uh,
But my point is like test it up to the wazoo and make sure because even if you shoot it once, it's like okay, bulletproof glass. They call it bulletproof, but oftentimes if you hit it so many times, it'll eventually break. What happened to the Tesla project? Do you remember that?
oh my,
These are bulletproof. Boom with a ball.
I was like, oh wait, my bad. It was the back window.
They're like,
Nope,
well,
no, my bad.
we hit it a million times. It just happened to go off on that million and one. It's called a stress test, and things are they can be very strong at the beginning, but after so much of compounding on it, it can actually get worse over time. Don't ask me how I know. I used to be a science geek. All right.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
The whole
nothing's ever
Tesla.
proof.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever proof. They're resistant, but never proof. That's why they always have a percentage, right? Percentage that works versus what doesn't.
30 seconds.
All right, thank you.
There's only one video where this person who was, I think he had his girlfriend shoot him for like a video,
Yeah.
and it went through. It went through. It was horrible.
Yeah, don't be that person. Or when they
10,
think they think there's no bullet in it, and all of a sudden there is a bullet.
5 seconds. Guns are not toys, people.
No, they're not. Uh, Well, unless it's a
Coming back.
toy that is a
That is
toy
true.
that looks like a gun. But welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMT 1490 AM. Big shout out to Mario, who says in Canada we have stronger approval standards, so it's safer once we do get them. We will be months behind most, but I hate not being able to pick for myself. And says Trump should have been the first human test subject. But I feel like I kind of have questions because he got it and then got out and then didn't exhibit anything. I mean, the guy's like foolproof over there. Or did he get it? I don't know. I think people still have questions. And instead of trying to get his own approval rating up, why doesn't he like take the necessary couple of months and say, you know what? I'm going to work for you in my final days going out. So much so, you're going to want me back at some point. And, you know, he comes out with this cool stuff that actually works and helps people instead of like throwing rhetoric out the window and being like, well, yeah, we're all in it, but let's focus on my numbers. I need to be president, people. Because I feel that's all he cares about at the end of the day. I think people now realize what he cares about at the end of the day. Is it the American people? No, it's about his own numbers. Right? That's all we hear about. That's all I've been hearing. Whenever I put on the ABC or CNN or whatever news channel happens to be on, that's all I hear. I don't hear anything for the people. I don't hear, oh, let's make the financial status available. Let's get Congress to do what they're going to do because I'm still president. I heard he got upset at a journalist for asking him a question, and he's like, you don't ever talk to the president that way. It's like, I don't think she voted for you, or he. I don't know. I don't know what the journalist asked, but I thought, what a numbskull to be able to like you don't talk to the president like that. I'll tell you how I talk to the president. Whoops! Watch the morning show weekdays at 8 a.m. I talk about the president all the time. All right, and never good unless he does something good that is worthwhile. But I have yet to see it. I'm waiting for it. I am. I'm waiting. But there you go. I heard him say just the other day, they keep repeating it. He says for 6 months, he's not going to accept the polls. What does that mean, Jesse?
Wait, what?
Oh, you didn't
What?
hear that?
No, I did not. What did he say?
Okay, I'm going to bring it up. Hold on. Trump said this because I don't want to misquote the guy, right? Because I don't want to be that person. Let's see. Anyway, he said it a couple of times, and it was on the news, and they said for 6 months, right? My mind is not gonna accept the poll. I go, what's gonna happen in 6 months? What are you waiting for? So there you go. But that's his statement, and they think he is full of it. I just wonder what he expects to happen in 6 months. You know, because isn't that past the whole prime time getting? Or maybe they're misquoting him. I don't know. But I do know this. He said it, and there you go. Because he's fighting the polls. It's almost like he knew that he was going to lose in the end. So how do you make it appear as though you're the popular person? Start making it as though nobody likes you, but it's all fake, right? Anyway, so there you go. And look, if you like Trump and you think Trump should be the winner, then I think, if anything, he should go out with the bang. And I mean that by just, get Congress. He said they weren't going to make a decision for the rest of the United States of America financially before the polls, because evidently polls were important. Your vote mattered. Not, right? Because at the end of the day, does it matter? Who knows? But the question is, what do you do next? And for you in social media and chat room, how is it happening in your area? Do you find it difficult to pay for things? Do you find it difficult to financially buckle down? Do you find it almost impossible because you've already gone through your life savings? I know a lot of people only had about 3 to 2 weeks of savings because you're working, and then all of a sudden your employer is gone, or you can't collect unemployment because the unemployment check hasn't come. I mean, there's so many situations happening that are not being spoken of, which I believe in the next coming months, everybody's going to say, well, that was a disaster, right? So what's going to happen next, Jesse? I don't know. What do you feel is going to happen next?
I honestly have no clue. I'm just taking everything as it comes because it's like every week something happens. So it's kind of hard for me to predict on what's going to happen. But You know what? If he doesn't want to go out of there by January 20th, maybe we should make some type of catapult.
Hey, you got the biggest throne ever. There you go. Watch, sit there. Thank you. You can see it. We'd be like, thank you very much. And then, kind of like what was that? What was Wile E. Coyote, right?
Wait, one last throw from the White House, but
Um,
it he just needs to, like, if he was voted out, he should just suck it up. Some people are just really poor losers. That's just what it is. They do not like losing.
Oh, he doesn't like losing at all. I mean, the guy kept touting himself as successful. But if you do the documentary of his life,
Mhm.
there's a couple of them. Dirty Money is one of them. It shares some of the real statements of how his perception of being quite successful was actually more of a perception than the reality. And you do that, and you'll find some very interesting stories, much of which you go, well, no wonder he's that guy. And I think in the coming years, he will always be regarded as the president who allowed coronavirus to get the best of everybody. Sorry, I hate to say it, but there you go. I don't blame him for coming up with the actual thing. I just blame him for not doing the right thing at the beginning and making it as though it was all about him to begin with. It was a slant towards him, right? I mean, I know of broadcasters that I don't know if they still preach and teach this, but they love Trump so much that you could probably have a fire burning and they'll be like, "Oh, that was so that Trump didn't get voted in, right? In a certain county." That's the type of mentality that I hear when it came to coronavirus. So I kind of go, "Well, you're voting for that guy. What other kind of nonsense is going to come out of your head, right?" So I challenge anybody that has that type of nonsense to make like facts actual facts. And I saw a report about disinformation was so high during 2020. You got to wonder who's spreading that type of harmful information out there, right? Who's behind that? Who wants people, A, to get sick and or die and to listen to their own rhetoric? You got to question that person's ability to want to do the right thing for people, right? Wouldn't you question that, Jesse?
I question everything. I question everything.
I've always had conversations with people about coronavirus behind the scene, and I know many people that love Trump, right? And I had conversations, and I always be like, well, look, I'm willing to vote for the guy if he does the right thing, but I heard so many people say behind the scenes, yeah, but coronavirus isn't real. Oh, they're just making it up. Oh, it's a global conspiracy. But here's what I say. What's the harm in just accepting maybe it's a thing, right? What's the harm? And I never get a straightforward answer. What's the harm in just that's all I hear, and I go, okay, if you're right, then we're just wearing a face mask for the fun of it, right? People aren't really getting sick. Go down to the hospital and see how easy it is to walk in without a coronavirus test. Go check it out. And then walk in without a face mask. See how long that's going to last. There are diseases out there, period, end of story. Right? You don't want any one of those diseases. Are they all fake and made up just because they're not in your own backyard? Hello? Don't be the stupid person in the room. That's all I got to say about that. All right, Wonder Woman 2. Is it coming out? How's it coming out? Lots of questions I need answers to. According to this, what's streaming in December? Let's look at that because December is upon us. Can you believe it? It's the first day of December, Jesse.
Yes, I'm counting down till Christmas so that I can get ready to watch Wonder Woman.
Awesome. I know. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not gonna lie. So here are some things streaming on Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, and more.
Okay, boom.
Let me scroll to something that looks fun because here we go. Selena, the series.
What?
Selena, yeah, the series.
Like Selena?
Like, what is? How does that line go? Salinas.
Oh, okay. Wow, they're turning it into a TV show.
Yeah. It says we could fall in love with the series about the rise of the beloved Mexican-American singer Selena Quintanilla, who was tragically killed in 1995 at the age of 23. It's playing on Netflix. And I have to say, the actress really does a good job. I don't know if it's going to be any like blowback on it, like, oh, that happened, that didn't happen. I don't really know, but it looks really good, and it's on Netflix, so check it out. And then there's this. Sorry, I'm scrolling through a lot of ones that look kind of. Oh, here's one: Diary of a Mad Black Woman, on Hulu. After being dumped by her husband for a younger woman, a woman seeks the comfort and advice of her tough and sassy grandmother, Medea. Medea's always fun, right?
Yeah,
So
she's fun.
if you haven't seen that, then you should go check that out. This is always a very beloved one, of course, and it is Elf, right? Elf is going to be on Netflix as well. So there you go. Yeah, and part of something. Let's see. Insider interviews and behind the scenes peeks unwrap the real stories behind the iconic Christmas blockbusters, the holiday movies that made us, season one. So they go back and kind of, reinvigorate the stories of those. Clifford the Big Red Dog. That's a thing on Amazon Prime for the kids. And I don't know if you saw this, but they did a trailer of the live movie adaptation, and people don't like the color of the dog because it's like,
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer yet, so I haven't
yeah.
judged it yet.
Well, it's kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Remember how Sonic was like didn't look good, and then they had to go back and redo it. So that's the talk of Clifford the dog. This one I highly recommend: The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. If you haven't done that in a long time, that's a good couple of three. Oh, by the way, Jesse, something you need to know:
Uh-oh. Okay, go ahead.
on Steam, when you get your VR device, they have role-playing games on there. One of which is Final Fantasy. You're welcome.
Final Fantasy what?
I think, let's see, XIV. What is that, 14?
14. Oh, that's going to be so interesting, and then so I don't know, that's massive because when I play Final Fantasy 14, I have to do it from a distance, like from a top view.
Yeah.
So looking at a giant monster that you're fighting will be an interesting thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't checked it out because I've still got things to check out. But there you go. I thought you'd be interested. And you can create your own. Oh, by the way, on big screen VR, you can throw popcorn at people. You're welcome.
Yes!
You're welcome. It's a thing. So there you go, people. I'm out of time. Jesse's excited. Go get your VR device if you can. Everybody chip in $50. There you go. Share it. Get bragging rights. And there you go. All right, people. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, for the rest of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Sorry, I'm so quick at adding the button there. I'm going to get off here because I need to figure out what is going on with my computer system because it is not picking up the audio like it's supposed to. So I couldn't get your comments up on the screen because I'm using another switching gear, which big shout out to Switchboard. Glad I still have them around. But there you go. So if you have a Windows update and it's causing problems, go uninstall it and then see if things work again, and you'll be happier for having done that. All right, people, make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye, everyone.